I caught my roommate trying to evict me to move her boyfriend in, so I showed the landlord her unauthorized sublet listing. We'd been living together for almost 2 years in this decent 2-bedroom apartment downtown. Things were completely fine until about 6 months ago when her boyfriend Marcus started staying over every single night. At first it was weekends, then it became 4 days a week, and eventually he basically lived there. He'd use my shampoo, eat my groceries, and leave his gym clothes everywhere. One Tuesday morning I walked into the kitchen to make coffee and found an eviction notice with my name on it just sitting there on the counter. Not in an envelope, not handed to me personally, just lying there like a piece of junk mail. My roommate Sarah wasn't even trying to hide it or have a conversation about it. I picked it up and read through it completely confused. It said I had violated multiple lease terms and needed to vacate within 30 days. I'd never been late on rent, never caused problems, and suddenly, I'm getting kicked out? None of it made sense. I immediately went to Sarah's room and knocked on her door. She opened it looking guilty as hell, and I held up the notice asking what was going on. She actually had the audacity to act surprised and say, "Oh yeah, the landlord wanted me to give you that." She claimed she'd been meaning to talk to me about it but kept forgetting. I asked her why I was being evicted, and she gave me this ridiculous story about how the landlord was doing major renovations and needed my room specifically for storage and construction access. She even pulled out her phone and showed me some texts that supposedly came from our landlord backing up her story. The whole thing felt extremely sketchy. Something in my gut told me this was complete garbage, so I told her I was going to call the landlord myself and verify everything. Her face went white, and she started backtracking immediately, saying, "Oh, you don't need to bother him. He's really busy. Just trust me on this." That's when I knew for certain she was lying. I went back to my room and called our landlord, Mr. Chen, directly. He answered after 2 rings, and I explained that I'd received an eviction notice. He was completely confused and said he hadn't sent me anything and asked what I was talking about. He had no idea about any renovations or any reason for me to leave. I told him about Sarah's story, and he got quiet for a second before asking me to send him photos of everything, including those fake texts. That's when I started digging deeper. I searched our address on various apartment and subletting websites and found it. Sarah had posted our entire apartment on 3 different subletting sites, advertising my room for $200 more than we were currently paying in rent. The listing said available immediately, fully furnished, great location, and she was offering it as a 6-month sublet with option to extend. She'd taken photos of my room without my permission and posted them online. In her messages with potential renters, she claimed she owned the place and had full authority to sublet it. I took screenshots of absolutely everything: the fake eviction notice, the sublet listings on multiple platforms, the conversations where she admitted to potential renters that someone currently lived there but would be leaving soon, and the texts where she told me the landlord wanted me out. I compiled it all into one folder and sent it directly to Mr. Chen with a detailed explanation. He called me back within an hour, absolutely furious. Turns out unauthorized subletting was a major violation of our lease agreement, and he'd had problems with this exact scam before. He told me he was handling it immediately, and that I shouldn't worry about anything. 2 days later, Sarah received the actual eviction notice from Mr. Chen's lawyer. It wasn't some fake printout from the internet. It was a real legal document giving her 15 days to vacate for lease violations, including attempted fraud and unauthorized subletting. The landlord also gave me the first option to either stay and find a new roommate of my choice, or take over the entire lease myself at a reduced monthly rate as compensation for the hassle. I chose to stay and brought in my friend from work who'd been looking for a place. Sarah was absolutely losing it during those 2 weeks packing up her stuff. She kept trying to guilt trip me, saying I'd ruined her life over a misunderstanding, and that Marcus was going to propose and they needed to save money by living together. She threatened to sue me for defamation and harassment, even though I'd literally just exposed her own scam. She moved out 13 days later.